Well, the media have been urged to exercise restraint in their reportage concerning the current security challenges in some parts of the country. President Bola Tinubu's media aide, Bayo Onanuga, stated this in a statement issued yesterday in Abuja, yesterday being Wednesday. Now, Mr. Onanuga said the media has the responsibility to promote laudable actions by the government and make positive criticism based on the overriding national interest. Furthermore, he said the media has the responsibility to promote, put out issues as they were. Well, a media reporting about cases of kidnapping, communal killings, and isolated terrorist acts must show some moderation by not giving the impression that all Nigerians no longer sleep with two eyes closed or are not safe in going about their day-to-day businesses. That's coming from Bayo Onanuga. But the presidential aide said the government has been putting various kinetic and non-kinetic measures in place to improve the security of lives and property. Kinetic and non-kinetic measures. Oh well. Well, President Tinubu has been providing material support to security agencies to discharge their duties. In recent weeks, we've seen the police setting up a special intervention squad equipped with drones. The DSS has stepped up its anti-kidnapping act, rescuing 154 abducted victims in the last few days. Now, also do recall that last week, President Tinubu approved 50 billion naira as special fund to address some of the lingering security challenges in the Northeast. He also approved special funds to the Federal Capital Territory for the acquisition of tracking equipment to be used to track criminals. Okay. We'll look at all of these things and how they have helped to curb insecurity. Have they curbed insecurity? If you look at the numbers, really. Well, we do have with us in this studio, we still have Okpeoluwa Taiwo, who is Executive Director, Africa Bridge Initiative. And also, we are being joined by Sheson Okwade, who is a Chartered Accountant, Public Affairs Commentator as well. Good to have you with us.
Good morning, Moses. Good morning,
Thanks for joining this conversation.
Nice to see you, Taiwo. I'm glad to be here this Thursday morning.
Right, so let me stay with you now. Let's look at the figures now. 154 rescued. That should be encouraging. But if you juxtapose that with the figures of those that have been killed, which was released, I think, sometime last month, by some daily, it goes into thousands. Those kidnapped within, the first 8 months of this administration goes into thousands already. Is it the media's? Is it a fault of the media that these reports are coming out the way they are?
Thank you very much, Moses. While you were reading your prologue, I was smiling within myself to see an highly respected journalist react in this way because it's not in the presidency. Saying that we should minimize speaking the facts as against political propaganda that we are known for. But going towards the tail end of your prologue, you came out with figures. And President investing so much money, 50 billion to the Northeast. We're not talking of Southwest, Southeast. So much money released to track criminals in Abuja.
Tracking devices.
Tracking devices to track criminals in Abuja. I think that information should not be in the public domain. It should reside with the presidency, because if you can boastfully come out to say you have invested 50 billion, not to salvage economy, not to create hospitals, but to actually attack insecurity. And you're saying that the media should manage information. So the killing of the Obas in Ekiti is something you should keep to yourself. I don't know if you saw the video of the governor visiting the palace and a woman lamenting. While we are growing up, it's something that when you hear the palace of the Oba, it's like
a revered place.
You are afraid to even touch the don't even go to the Obas or the Bales, even their wives, their children. You are afraid to even get near them because of the way we consider that they have been fortified to protect the environment where they guide. So when you now get hold of that person that you believe can secure the environment and not just holding them to a stage, killing them, what is the fate of the followers? And someone from the presidency is saying, keep that. That information shouldn't be in domain. I don't expect the governor of Ekiti State visiting that palace. Then we should close those things. I think we should get serious about things that get into the media. And disheartening that people that have been in the profession, a respected journalist, is coming out to say that. If the good news are there, what stops us from saying it? As we speak, I'm an ardent, supporter of this administration. But I must say, it has become imperative to let them know that the level of insecurity, it's more. Ekiti used to be a very peaceful state. Ondo used to be a very peaceful state. It's not only that. Go to Ondo State, Ogun State. Even in Lagos, we claim to have security. Moses, I challenge you. Let's have a flat tire at around 7 p.m. in some places in Lagos. Whether you will not be saying the Lord's Prayer, you will even abandon your vehicle and go.
Absolutely.
Okay.
This is what we are saying. We are not saying that they are not doing anything. We are not saying that they are not putting their best. But certain things has created the level of insecurity. I was coming very early this morning, and I was looking left and right. God, just see us through. Lagos is where I reside. And I keep saying that one of the things I gave the previous administration is that, do you know, lightening up an environment is one of the things that aid security.
Yeah.
At least you can see through. Most of the lights that we have in Lagos are not operational. And you can consider what will happen. It's already a place for them to hide. We are talking of Lagos that we have so much investment in security, where we have the Lagos State Security Trust Fund and the likes that we're actually using to support security. How much more of other states where they don't have? Do you want to talk about Oyo State? I'm even concerned about my Southwest now. I don't want to be seen. You want to go to the East, what we're seeing, and somebody is saying that we should minimize it, not to be seen as if I was in Abuja. People were telling me that, we cannot stay out beyond 7:38.
Okay.
So I feel that the people that are the aim of affair, like I keep saying, they seems not to be managing the information. I still have this to say to them because they gave us the information that the president went on a private visit, and I've asked them, as we speak, as the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, do you have private life to keep? You are responsible to us. I must be able to speak boldly. My friend in diaspora calls and says, where is our president? I say it's on a private visit. I say, is that something that you guys are doing in the country? This is not nice of it. So I think the handler of the information of the president should do much more better, because we consider them to be veterans. We consider them as people who understand the dynamics of things, but not this. If you're saying 154 out of several thousands that has happened, put the mathematics together. I don't want to act as an accountant this morning.
Okay, fine. Mr. Taiwo, when Mr. Sheson was talking and you were like, I don't know, but I know you have a lot of things you want to talk about concerning this particular topic. But my question to you is this. We have been pointing different fingers to different things, saying that these are the causes or the root causes of this insecurity in the country. Can you, in your own way, what do you think actually happened to be the thing or the major causes of insecurity, and what do you think the government need to do differently this time around, this particular time, to help curb it?
All right. So for the presidency, I was not taken aback by such a statement from the presidency. It's normal, like he just rightly posited that, it's unfortunate that you're a professional before you get into the presidency, but when you get to the presidency, your professionalism become politicianism. So that is understandable. Well, I will not be too bereaved by the statement of Bayo Nonuga. He was supposed to be a professional. Maybe he's still a professional, but let's leave that aside. We have Zamfara State, we have Kaduna State, we have Katsina State, we have Niger State. There are some villages in all of these states that Boko Haram has taken over. There's some particular village over there. You cannot move as an indigent from that village to transact business in another village. So the authority of those villages is being taken over by the bandits. And somebody is telling me that the press are over speaking on the bandit activities. In fact, I will say that the press has not said enough about the activities of the bandits. Now, what is the meaning of bandits? How do we get to this point? We talk about poverty. We talk about illiteracy. All right? We talk about poor leadership. Now we talk about poor governance. All right? Those are some of what? The foundation of the challenges we are now. Look at what happened to the Chibok girls. They are still missing up to now.
Over 9 years.
They are still missing up to now. Close to a decade.
Yeah.
Some were retrieved one way or the other, either directly or indirectly, either through negotiation. Some of us were not privy to those negotiation or ransom, whether it was paid or it was laundered or it was given. Some were released, but some are still being unknown up to now. So are you saying that the killing of Obas, like you rightly said, when we grew up in the village, you know, it is uncalled for. You can't even imagine it, that somebody will enter into the palace to steal a property of the king, not to talk of kidnapping the king, and even what? Killing the king. What does that, do you know what that means to us? Do you know what that means? That means you are saying that the entire Ekiti state is not safe, including the governor himself. That is the summary. If the press have not said that, maybe the presidency need to hear this from me directly, that the entire Southwest is not safe, especially even the governor of Ekiti state should start looking for a new state house in Abuja. If his Obas are not safe.
Is Abuja
No,
safe?
maybe it's safe because since
no, Abuja will be safe now.
Abuja will be safe. Since
Close
50
to
billion naira
presidency.
is out, Abuja will be safe because, like he said, close to presidency, Abuja will be safe. Let's assume that Abuja is safe. It's still safe where somebody is still having a private visit outside the country. So let's assume that it's still safe. At least so far it will still come back. That means the Abuja is still safe. So where do we go from here? Where do we go?
That's a big
That's
question.
the question.
Where
That's
do
a
we
big
go?
question.
What are the solutions?
That is what I asked.
The northern leaders should understand that politics without education is criminality. Governance without education is what? Is colonialism. As of today, the northern leaders and elders are still practicing colonialism. In fact, they are far away from the presidential system of government that we are practicing. Because in a democratic situation, what do we have? We have people being enlightening, asking questions, being part of the process. But an average citizen in the north does not even understand the meaning of local government, not to talk of how the governor became the governor. So the high level of illiteracy is killing us. Can we bring the Almajiri, can we bring it back into school? Can we open our educational sector? That the same education that is being happening in the Ekiti state can also take place in Zamfara state. That the same educational institution in Lagos state, the same quality is taking place in Borno state. If you don't have that same quality of education in different zones of Nigeria, then we are far from the promised land. We must tell ourselves the truth.
Okay.
The same, what do you call it? The same governance, the same economic activities in Lagos. Is it the same in Borno State? The answer is no.
So are you hinging this on on the lack of education?
So the education
is a problem. The lack of it is a problem.
It's a serious problem.
Okay.
Uneducated country is a dangerous country.
Now,
And that is why we are being part of the
at,
ranking countries that's what dangerous to live in. Because
in
of
2019,
what?
2019, 2020, 2019, 2021, there were policies that the previous administration brought out, and it was set to be aimed at gagging the media. And, you know, the civil society organizations spoke against it. Nigerians cried out. You do recall the banning of Twitter
Yeah,
at the
now
time.
X, yeah.
Now X. Thank you. Now, all of that was aimed to curtail the information that Nigerians were spreading and getting. All right. In as much as one would say, yes, fake news was prevalent, still is, and, you know, can be dealt with differently. But the previous administration was accused of wanting to gag the media. Some media houses were sanctioned for carrying certain kinds of information. Do you see this current administration towing that same line, trying to gag the media?
As of today, this administration looks more enlightening more than the previous administration. So I would say they might not want to follow that path because they understand that it is actually that same media that brought them into power. The information they pulled into the media assisted them to get to office. If not, the opposition will have taken over. So you can see the power of the media. So there's no way this particular administration will want to curb the activities of the media. They might want to regulate how information, how we get the authentic...
Regulating the information.
No, they're not regulating the information, but the authenticity of the information. And you know, there are various ways of pulling and putting some structure in place. For instance, if, I don't know, some of us have understood that on Instagram, on X-Space, especially on Instagram, on my page, there was some auditing that was done on my page, in quotes, in the last 1 year.
By you?
Not by me. By the owners of Instagram.
Okay.
Some videos were removed from my page. That is understandable. But don't forget,
no, they have,
Instagram,
they have
good, don't
policies.
Good.
Yeah,
Certain
regulation.
Yeah, that's what I'm
should not
saying. Don't forget that.
Even choice of way.
Good.
Exactly.
Don't forget that I was not banned from putting up those videos. But they went back to do some analysis to verify and say that, oh, young man, this particular video is not correct.
How does that relate to what the government is doing? How are you trying to measure to...
Can government learn from what X-Space is doing?
Wouldn't that be interfering in the privacy of individuals?
No, you're not interfering. You know, you're not.
So let's
look
take
at
on
that.
this one.
Yeah, to respond to your question, with the response I'm hearing from Bayo Nonoga, we tend to be toiling the path of the last administration.
Gagging the media.
In guarding the media. Let's say it the way it is, because if you are coming that we should report this and not report this, don't forget that several information are out there that are not previewed. I was listening to a sister station yesterday where a caller was saying there is kidnapping in Lagos, some part of Lagos, and suddenly they no longer report to the police agency. They go about, pay the ransom, and keep quiet because they want their family members to regain freedom. That is not in the public domain. As a matter of fact, it's the information you report that they have access to. You now ask yourself, what is the trust, what is the confidence that the citizen are in the police or the security agencies? In the last 1 week, I have read in the media, not only in the media, I have seen police officers come out to say certain things. I was listening to the Commissioner of Police yesterday talking about happening an incident in Ogun State where 3 police officers were sacked because they saw them, toiling. And I asked, you sacked them. By now, they should not just be behind the bar. They should be having their path with their creator. Because we should start taking things intentionally. Because the man you have sacked still have understanding of how to carry gun. It's not just only now it's not licensed to carry the gun and protect the people.
But he can go out, if he sees someone who have understanding of access to those ammunition, he can go about, get engaged, and start going into the business of robbery properly. So I feel the major problem why this insecurity has started, increasing the way we've seen it, it's because there has not been intentional deterrent to those that has actually been found culpable of some of this act. Let me say this, Moses,
exactly
please.
where I was going to.
Yeah.
Remember this corruption we are all crying and talking of today started somewhere. And I remember all my Lego friends will pick me up and say, "Sheson, this is not Asia country. This is Nigeria where we practice democracy. Everyone that is, found picking or taking or misappropriate from is an allegation. It's alleged. And for years, the allegation keeps rolling. And we keep going. And the man is investing the money. The interest, just imagine 10 years ago, you are able to pick 10 billion from the coffers of the state. And you are not even using that money. You just fixed it somewhere. Do you know the number of interest you would have earned as we speak? You must have doubled the money. Or you've been able to invest it in Eurobond or foreign business. You can imagine the interest you would have earned. And that thing is still an allegation till today. Same we have taken in the side of insecurity. You keep hearing 2 suspects were picked, 3 suspects, they are all suspects.
We don't get anyone being tried. Aside from Chukwudumeme, Onwa Madike.
The one in Abuja.
Evans.
Evans.
Yes. Okay. Evans.
Is the beginning of that story we heard that is in the police custody.
Exactly my point. So how then can Nigerians trust?
How can we still verify that he's still there? These are interesting things. We are not trying to indict the police. But for Christ's sake, everybody is now afraid to move around the street. I give kudos to Lagos State because they tend to be, guarding situation. But when you move outside the state, it's a different ball game. We keep saying that the police needs to be motivated, welfare package for them, so that at least let them have sense of belonging, rather than encouraging all this act. And I want to say, when you pick up some of these guys that have, committed this offense, can we try them and just say this atmosphere of saying putting them in the jail? Pardon me, I'm not an advocate for it.
And then there will be a jailbreak.
Yeah, you hear that in Moses? The way you are just jailbreak, and those guys have their freedom back into the system.
Society.
I've seen an instance where a criminal is threatening a security agent.
Oh yes.
That you actually put him in the police custody. After 1 year, I'll be out, and you and your family are not safe. What do you expect from that? I expected that as soon as that guy, by now, we should hear that they've done his final burial ceremony. Because that will give the security man the confidence that his life is no longer under threat. These are my challenges. Moses, you need to see, the presidency can say we should manage it. But truth be told, that the reason why our economy is not growing is because of the level of insecurity that pervaded the country. Those days, I made bold to state that I moved from Lagos to every part of the country by road because my job necessitated
Interestingly,
and also even at night.
There's a video that trended on social media yesterday. It showed some security personnel chasing kidnappers. They were able to rescue a young man, but I think it was 2 ladies and a young man that the kidnappers took on motorbikes, but unfortunately they killed the ladies before the security personnel could get to them. Now let's take a listen to this. We'll take as much of this video as we can. If we can go towards the end part, that would be nice. Let's listen to it. Okay. Well, I've been informed that due to the rules on YouTube, we may not be able to play the audio. But that's a gory scene there. Some of the ladies being kidnapped were killed by the kidnappers, but they were able to rescue the boy. But then, that's the boy there. The kid, he kind of jumped from the bike before the kidnappers ran away. And the police, the military personnel or the police chasing them, they were even afraid at some point. If you could listen to it, the person behind the camera kept saying, "Look, when I come front, we chase them." So some of them were in front, the rest were behind. They were firing gunshots, but they were too afraid to,
Approach.
continue the chase. And then when they got to where the lady, the girl were, somebody said, no medical, no medical. So they probably would have been able to even save the little girl, but there was no medical attached to them as they were making that chase.
Moses, I want to give kudos to the military agency, the
Because they
security
seem to
agency.
be working with very little that they have.
They are overstretched. And it takes me back to, if they are able to apprehend these guys that are kidnapped, I can tell you that they will take them. Remember, okay, that takes me to when the Chief of Defense Staff was invited to the National Assembly. He came up openly to say, most of the time when we get some of these criminals, because we are in a democratic setting, we hand them over.
And they're taken to Abuja.
Take them to the judiciary for them to have their case. But most of the time, we see them back in the system. It's not Sheson saying it. It's the chief of the Senate. That's enough stress. These guys, these people are like, they are human beings like you and I. And that's why most of the time I will tell human beings, don't blame them. If you feel that they are not doing it right, leave the profession of journalism and join the security agency. Then you will appreciate it. We are overstretching some of these things, and that's why most of the time I will say, whether you like it or you don't like it, when you get hold of those people, we understand the fact that you might be taking innocent people, but these ones that we've seen, I expect that as you are handing them over, just finish them. Let's minus one.
You're calling for capital
punishment.
As
Moses,
a deterrent.
I put it across to the politicians. During the Youth-Child period, how many of them were able to return back to their constituency? A lot of them stayed back in Abuja. And as we speak, Abuja is becoming hot. That's why we are seeing so much investment in security. The last time we heard about the contract of CCTV in Abuja and Lagos, how much of it is in working?
Unfortunately, we're pressed for time, so we have to wrap up this conversation. But I'd like to get your thoughts on this as well. We do know that he's calling for capital punishment now. Do you share the same view? And shouldn't we see more trials being taking place as a way of boosting confidence? Maybe that way the media will not report, that the crimes are escalating. The media will have something to say that yes, government is actually fighting it and curbing it, and then the people will have confidence. I mean, Bayo Onanuga saying it's wrong to say Nigerians cannot sleep with two eyes closed. I don't know. And
then also add this to it, what again do you think the government can do to make sure that they restore trust? Because number of citizens now, it's like we don't even have trust again in the government and the agencies, the security agencies, set to protect our lives and properties while they give it time.
Let's get your thoughts in 60 seconds.
All right, so for Nigeria, two things are involved. Number one, like he said, we have overstretched the security. And the funding for the security gadget is more than the funding for the security operatives. So there are two things entirely. You must understand that also. So if somebody is telling us from Presidency that they are bringing up 50 billion, the question is it for the gadgets or for the operatives? As of today, the operatives, the security operatives, they are suffering. We should understand
They are
that.
suffering.
They are suffering.
They are suffering.
The funding that is coming out from the Presidency should be more for the welfare of the security operatives, even more than their gadgets, because you might not be able to audit the gadgets procurement as a result of corruption.
Okay.
Let's leave that on one hand. On another hand, how do we strengthen the judiciary? When the judiciary are properly taken care of, number one, independent, then the trust of the people can be increased. So the judiciary must be independent. And that means that whenever the budget is being approved, their funds should go directly to them. Not somebody, not the Chief Justice waiting at the corridor of the Minister of Justice to get his budget being released. If not, justice will be averted. So when the judiciary are independent and their proper welfare is being taken care of, what do you think will happen? An average man on the street knows that whenever there's a crime, I have judiciary to run to. And with that, Nigeria will be a safer place to live from tomorrow, not as of today according to Bayo Ononuga.
All right, thank you very much. We've been speaking with Opeoluwa Taiwo, Executive Director, Africa Bridge Initiative, and Cheson Okwade, Chartered Accountant, Policy and Public Affairs commentator. We'll take a break now. When we come back, we'll be looking at another issue, actually. When we come back, we'll be looking at...
that Tinubu decries...
oh, yes.
Tinubu decries labeling of Nigeria as cybercrime corruption hub.
All right, so that conversation when we return.